I just went to a Portillo's, and I haven't been to one of those since Chicago. And boy, their hot dogs are so good. So I stopped in there and made me think of Chicago, and then all the fun things I used to do with my little girl. I took her to so many fun little things to do in Chicago. When I went bike riding, we go to Portillo's. I did so many fun things with her to try to make it so that when she got older, we would be good friends, and I could be there for her. And instead, she never wants to talk to me, and I'm treated by everybody like I'm an abusive alcoholic. I just beat the hell out of her and her mother, and I just cannot believe what happened. This alienation is the only thing that makes sense. You know, I took her phone from her when she was a kid and apologized for it because I didn't like it, and apparently that's enough to make it worthwhile to call me an abusive and beat somebody up. And it was just, I knew there was alienation going on when she was a kid and didn't want to see me after not seeing me for a while. And I was hoping doing a lot of fun things with her was going to make it so that would break through that. But when she got to be a teenager, I had no idea what was going on in her head. She never communicated with me, let me know what was going on in her head. Again, I tried to do just fun things with her, but I should have, I guess, had more of a talk with her because I have no idea what was going on in her head. Why she thinks I was mean, or, you know, I was always a parent. That was the most important to me, is being a parent over a friend. But I really did a lot to try to make sure that we were friends. I spent a lot of money and a lot of time doing a lot of fun things, and I have a lot of good memories. And now I'm some abusive guy that beats the hell out of people, and legally I can't even reach out to her, because she could just make a phone call and have me thrown in jail based off of lies, based off of, ridiculousness. I had a lawyer that plea bargained. I should have never done it. But, boy, you know, I always loved her to death, and I can't believe that 10 years later, and I still lay in bed and I can't sleep a lot of nights, even after this many years. So I hope children that abandon their parents realize what they're doing to them. Because it's very hard for the rest of your life. When you love your children, you can't just, that's something not something you can just move on from, like you can, you know, from a bad relationship with a woman, you know, or even a divorce. So yeah, I guess that's it. Just sad thinking about it, all the fun times we had. So I hope this channel exposes some stories, and I really want to get more people involved and talk to them, because I feel like this story, my story, should not go unsaid and just dropped. You know, if I was put through this, maybe I was, I don't know, it makes me wonder if there is a God, because what God could put me through this. But, you know, if you go through something, maybe, you know, you try to make something good come out of it, where the only thing I can think is that to get other people involved and you know, and help guys, and you know, help them with some of the things I've done, and maybe learn from some of the things I've done. Would I have done things differently? Yeah, but at the time, did I try my best all the time? And I only had her best interest in her? Of course. 100%, 1,000%. She might not have understood why, but she never communicated with me. So, and I, you know, I tried to communicate. Maybe I should have tried more. I always preach that communication is so important. And I think she was led astray, and being told a lot of things about me that weren't true. You know, when I went for custody, there was reasons behind it. It wasn't just because I'm selfish, which is probably what she was told. You know, and I'd like to explain everything to her. And I think if she understood everything, she wouldn't just have abandoned me like she did. So, and even though all the terrible stuff she's done, you know, it would be hard to reconcile, but you know, she's my daughter, so you can't just, you know, I don't know. She was my number one, my whole family, and I can't believe she did this. I mean, at this point, she's old enough. I know I always blamed her stepdad and her mom for leading her astray and telling her things that weren't true. I know that had to have happened. and other people just saying things that weren't true. That's the only thing that makes sense. But at this point, she's old enough to know better, to know right from wrong, to know whether or not she should try doing the right thing and reconciling and realize everything I went through and everything I tried to keep us together, keep us good friends. She should realize everything. And she's old enough to realize that, and old enough to realize that, you don't file paperwork against your own father who loves you and make up lies to have him get in trouble and go to court, possible jail time and everything else, and put him through that stress when, what have I done so terrible? I'm not the one that abandoned her. I would have never abandoned her. I always kept lines of communication open. So, to abandon a father that maybe you didn't agree with then, but we didn't communicate either. I never knew why she felt the way she felt. It was just like, I truly believe it was alienation and things being told that were simply not true. I truly believe that. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Because it's just ever since she was born, it was a lot of, if there was enough time that went by where I didn't see her, all of a sudden she was mad at me. And there's nothing I did. I didn't even see her. But I'm sure she was told things. And a lot of things that weren't true. And that's the only thing that makes sense. And maybe her mom thought they were true, but they weren't. She's just making up things. When you don't communicate, sometimes you'll make up things. Oh, he must have done this. Oh, he's doing this for this. No. But, there's never any communication. So, if you love someone, especially a parent, family, you reconcile, you talk to them, you communicate, so it doesn't get to this point. And you sure as hell don't try getting them in trouble. And for doing nothing more than reaching out. And have I been frustrated? Of course I've been frustrated. And I've been hurt. Of course I've been hurt and frustrated. Who wouldn't be? When you love someone so much and you're abandoned, you're not going to take that well. You're not going to be like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'm fine with never seeing you for 5 years and not being able to go to your graduation and not seeing you in college and, et cetera, et cetera. Who would be okay with that? Nobody. And who would be upset about that? Me. Everybody would be. So, there's a action and there's reactions, and if I hadn't been treated and abandoned and there was just communication instead, I'd have a good relationship with her. But unfortunately, she decided to do what she learned from, which I knew from her mother. I dated her mother for 7 years, and the biggest problem I had with her is she never communicated and would make assumptions. Once she got pregnant, I tried right off the bat for us to live together, and right off the bat, she just didn't want to talk to me. Nope, abandoned me, shut me off, not me. And I never was told a reason. Never why, what she was thinking. It's just like, you cannot have any kind of relationship if that's how you handle things and you don't communicate. And I try to always tell her that, but apparently it went in ear out the other, and she just is doing what her mother does, and mother did, and it's wrong. It's just flat out evil and wrong. And you don't abandon family. And am I upset about it? Of course I am. And I put a lot of time, effort, and love, and money, and God knows everything else, trying to do what was best for her, trying to help her. When she was having so many problems, I felt it was best to go for custody because there was too many things going on with her that I needed to get more involved and find out what was really going on. And I was just always kept in the dark. Why she was upset, what she was thinking, what was being said. I thought we were supposed to be friends, and there was no communication whatsoever. And I've thought, not recently, boy, I wish I had I had this feeling like, boy, I should contact her, but I can't, because I could get in legal trouble. I mean, I could get in legal trouble for this video because she doesn't like it. It's already happened, and I don't know why she's so angry at me, or what I did so terrible, because I react. Yes, anyone would, and I just wanted to share that a little bit, and I'm going to keep sharing my story. I want to share about what I've gone through in the courts too, how I was treated in courts, how the judge and everyone else said, "No, you're a terrible person. You can't see your child," and they never told me what I did that was so terrible. You know, it was all talk behind my back between lawyers and judges, and nobody ever. And I wasn't represented. I didn't have a lawyer, which was a mistake I made, and so I have no idea what was said. I had no recourse, no ways to defend myself, no reason to, okay, let's talk about why you think it's okay for me to never see my child again. No, Dan, I'm kidnapping your child from you. You can never see her again. Tough shit. And there's no reason, and that was flat out illegal to take your child from you without being given a single reason on what you possibly did wrong. And that's exactly what happened. So anyway, I kind of rambled on there a little bit, but I just hope that my stories and me talking about this stuff gets some people to comment and talk about it as well, so that we can get a dialogue going and go from there, because there's a lot of shady stuff going on with the court system and lawyers, and if there's things being said and your child's being kept from you, and I showed up 20 times to East Lansing hoping someone would be there. Nobody was there. And, and then that was just, no, that's okay. That's okay that I did that, tough. You're a terrible dad. You don't get to see your kid. And it's not fair to me. It's not fair. I deserve at least to sit down and an explanation on why everyone feels justified to just kidnap my child from me, keep me from my child from me, make lies about me, saying I'm abusive and beat up people and all this stuff, which is all not true. And a lot of exaggerations made, if when she was a kid, I'd bump her with a cigarette accidentally. We'd go to court, and I was purposely burning my kids with cigarettes, and then Ashley was probably thinking, oh, yeah, he was burning me cigarettes because Mom said he wasn't. I mean, that kind of stuff was going on. And I think it might have just, so much of it went on when she got older, she had a hard time. But I thought we were supposed to be friends. We never communicated. I loved you to death. And it's just like, to have that love and everything just broken away from me, and you never get to see your kid again. 10 years later, it's really hard. I can't sleep at night. And I wish there were support groups. I've gone to therapy. It still doesn't change the fact that I feel the same way, and I probably always will, which sucks, honestly. If I could just move on, I would, but you can't. It's hard to move on from your own children. Eventually I might learn to deal with it, but that's all it is dealing with it. You can't just move on from your own children like you can a girlfriend or ex-wife. I don't know. I can't. Maybe I wish I could, but that's it. I rambled on a little bit. Thanks for listening. I'm going to talk a little bit in this next video about some of the court system and some things about what I wasn't happy about, and some things that were done that were flat out illegal by lawyers and judges, and they were flat out illegal. And I've talked to lawyers since then. Now that time has passed, and they said they can't do that. You can't just say you can't see your kid without even giving you a reason. I'm like, well, they did. Well, they can't do that. Well, they did. They never gave me a reason. They did. They never told me anything I did wrong. They just said, boom, you can't see your kid again. After going to East Lansing 30 times and 20 times, whatever it was, and no one ever showing up. And then I show up to a hearing upset about it, and oh, you're upset. Oh, you're obviously a bad parent because you're all upset going off the hinges. Well, you'd be upset going off the hinges too if you were driving to pick up your kid and you didn't get to see your kid, who you know was being alienated against you, and you didn't see her for months. You'd be upset too. And I thought the judge would understand that, hey, yes, I'm upset. It doesn't mean I'm an abusive, hateful person. Anybody would be upset. I thought the court would understand why I'm upset, and instead it got turned around like I'm some horrible person because I'm upset. I was upset for reasons. I wasn't upset just because I'm an upset, angry person, but they turned this something around like that's me. I'm an upset, angry person. No, I was upset and angry, but I've been upset and angry because I've been hurt real bad, and there's reasons. It's not just like out of the blue I'm upset and angry for no reason. and I'm abusive and everything else. No. And I've never laid a finger or hit anyone, not her mother. Like I said, I took her phone from her one night. She wanted to call CPS going nuts because I grabbed her phone from her because I knew text messages were going on that were very concerning, and I wanted to see what was going on. And as a parent, that's my right. I want to know. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on with your child. And the whole thing has turned into just I'm some horrible person that angry and beats up people, blah blah blah, and everyone they just want to paint this picture of her mom and stepdad. It's a fucking piece of work. He wanted to turn around, and we met at a meeting once. He turns around and pushes me, wants to hit me, and he literally got physical with me when I was like, dude, we're right in front of my daughter, knock it off. And yeah. And then he replaced me. Apparently, he's supposedly a better dad, and I'm just an awful shitty dad. And I did my best. If I'm not a good enough dad for her, then I guess I'm not a good enough dad. Maybe someday I'll have kids again. I doubt it, but I don't know why she would think that I'm not good enough when nobody's worked and fought and tried as hard as I have, as far as tried to be friends with her and be a father. And no matter what I did, no matter what I said, I was always pushed away. No one would ever communicate with me. I was the losing end. No matter what I did, I was on the losing end. It didn't matter how hard I tried. It didn't matter what I did. And everything gets turned around. If I get upset, oh, yep, he's an upset person. I could just imagine if the tables were turned. Her mom would flip out over nothing. If I abandoned and alienated her from her child and never showed up at visitations over and over, these are things I would never do. If I did these things, she would fucking flip a lid, and she would come off as crazy and angry, way more than me. And Jesus Christ, my story is didn't see my kid for years, and missed the first few years of her life, and then I tried to build a relationship, tried so hard, and then all that work didn't even matter. Everything I did, I sacrificed all my good years and doing all these things and working on a relationship with her when, I didn't even, I put that all number one. I didn't even think about, trying to create a relationship with another woman or something, which I kind of wish I had, because then I'd have a healthy relationship with someone. Because when you get older, it's not as easy to find someone, so. Anyway, I'm done rambling for now. Very disappointed in my child. Maybe she said she needed a break, but apparently the break is, she'll come to my graveyard someday. All the years missed, all the things I wanted to be part of and I could have. Not only that, not only me, which is typical of the alienation, but my entire family. Like, my entire family is just shut off from them, things that it's just she really hurt me and a lot of people, and she still does, and I'm very hurt and upset with her. Because I still would never hit her or be. She should know what kind of person I am by now. If she doesn't know how good of a person I am, I don't know what to do, because I've tried 1,000%. So that's it. The story continues.